What's happening, everybody? Hope you're having a fine day. I hope wherever you are, the weather is just as nice as it is in Tennessee, because it's a beautiful day, and I'm sitting in the house watching movies. No better way to spend an 80-degree, sunny, beautiful day than in my chair with air conditioning on watching a set of films. So I hope you all are enjoying your day whatever way you want to do. What that has to do with this video? Absolutely nothing. As you've probably noticed, for the last couple days I've been reviewing the All Night Long trilogy. And I've said that I'm going to do this once a month over either a trilogy or quadruplogy. Quadruplogy, good God, quadrilogy. Nothing over that. I'm not going to be doing anything with 6-7 movies in it. 3 or 4 is the maximum I'm willing to do in a roll. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. So let's just cut the bull. You know this. You know what's up. If you watch the second video, if you not, go back and watch the second video. That will tell you what's up. And I'm going to get right into the final chapter. Literally, that's the name of this movie. All Night Long, Volume 3, the final chapter. And I believe right there, that chick right there, she's in the final chapter. And I thought there was a picture of the main guy, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't think there is. Oh well. All Night Long, Volume 3. Once again, we're shot on video, and once again, we're directed by Katsuya Matsumura, who did all these movies. Did all 3 of the All Night Long trilogy. What to say about this movie? Let's go ahead and get the plot done. Basically, once again, you have this nerdy kid, which running theme, like I said, of these movies is all 3 of them have one kid who's social awkward with gigantic glasses. Basically, he works at what is the scummiest sex hotel in the history of mankind. The whole crew that works there are absolutely disgusting. But basically their job is, a couple comes in, bangs, leaves their condoms and pube hair and all kinds of disgusting bodily fluids. And they come in and they clean it up and get it ready for the next couple to come in and bang again. That's their job. And basically, and there's a subplot in it, I'll go ahead and throw that in there. There's this girl who's bullied, who has problems with her legs. She has big old scars on them. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Like, you'll find out about the rest of that when you watch this movie. But keep going on with the main plot. Basically, he gets a new next-door neighbor, I believe, or she may have always worked there, be there, and she didn't know. He didn't know it. But I'm pretty sure that it's a new next-door neighbor. He begins to notice by noticing that she's there by her garbage. She's throwing out stuff you shouldn't throw out. And basically, this guy becomes extremely obsessed with this girl, where every day when she throws out her garbage, he goes and gets it and rummages through it. And he meets this guy who calls himself like a dirt collector or something like that. And actually, if you're a fan of Japanese cinema, you'll know this guy because he's a regular in Takashi Miike movies. He's also the main guy in Tetsu the Iron Man, and he's also in the crazy doctor from Full Metal Yakuza. That's the 2 movies I know from best. I'm pretty sure he's in other stuff too. Like, I believe he's in Dead or Alive 2. He's in a lot of Miike stuff. But I think most people would know him as they call him the Man, because you have the Man, and I believe Metal Fetish is the other character, but he's the Man from Tetsu the Iron Man. I digress. He meets him, and he does the same thing. He basically gives him the ropes about how to collect information from people through their dirt, through their trash. And this guy begins to learn things about this girl, like where she lives, where she works. He begins to file records about her, like through her stuff she's thrown out. He's able to get measurements, like what's her shoe size, what's her breast size, what's her waist size. And he also begins to map out her menstrual cycle, which is vile, by putting up used tampons on a wall. It's lovely, people. It's a lovely, lovely movie. It's a family film. That's what this is. Again, Mio has caused me to go crazy. So if these reviews make no sense, I apologize upfront. So basically, he becomes obsessed with her, and he slowly begins to integrate himself to her, like going to the store he works and buying stuff from her. One day, she shows up at the sex hotel he works at, and he sees her get banged by a guy, and he loses his shit. And from there, all hell breaks loose once again, and that's the thing about this movie. Last few minutes of the movies, craziness. And this movie, no different. It's pretty gory. I mean, there's some good violence in it. It's less extreme than the second one, only in tone. This one has a little different tone to it. It's not as dark, although there is nasty stuff that happens in this movie. Spoiler, minor spoiler. There is a mentally challenged character in this movie who works at the same hotel. Well, some of the workers there decided to rape a girl, and they forced the mentally challenged guy on her. And they also forced the mentally challenged guy to rape a guy at the end of the movie. So that, not fun. Not fun at all. But what makes this movie less extreme than the second one is the middle part, where this guy is taking used tampons and stuff and slapping them up on a wall and tracking this girl's menstrual cycle. It's not funny, but you're like, ugh. And I think that's the difference in this movie, where All Night Long Atrocity is just dark. This is more like, oh, it's more gross than it is disturbing. Although, like I said, there is very disturbing parts of the movie. All three of these movies have just very, very dark moments in them. So yeah, that what to say? I think the acting in this one is a little off. Like, I like the guy who is from Tetsu, the Iron Man, and Fumio Yakuza. I like him a lot. I like him in almost anything. He always comes off as a great crazy person. And he does it again in this movie. Like, when he takes him into his little dirt lair, and he's showing him these book after book after book of, like, people's stuff he's collected. And let me tell you, man, this movie has actually affected my personal life. Ever since this movie, when I get an envelope in the mail that has my name in it, I always make sure I tear up my name and my address and stuff. Because this movie was like, oh my god, you learn so much stuff from somebody's garbage. So so every time I get like a DVD in the mail, I automatically what do I get? And I open it up, and I'm like, oh cool, it's this, and I take off and I take a pair of scissors and I chop up my name and address. Like, I don't know if it's all because of this movie, but I noticed after watching this movie I started doing that a little more. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's awkward too. That's the main character in this movie is, oh wow, he is awkward. It's crazy and awkward. Like, some scenes, the hardest scene for me to watch in this movie is when he goes and buys like a packet of cookies or something from her. I think he buys like a cookie or something from her at this food market. Oh, the interaction between them is just, it's unbearable. Yeah, the movie is like, it's completely different than the other two up until like the last 30 minutes, and this one scene happens. And it's very much just like the other two. And then it goes back to the way it was. Just kind of being, ew, ugh. And then at the end, any fun this movie was at all gets because then it gets dark again. And this is, like I said, this is not a fun movie. I don't want to be misquoted as that. This is not a fun movie. This movie still has stuff like rape and, stuff like that in it, which is not fun. I don't want anybody to think I'm some kind of misogynistic person who considers that kind of stuff entertaining in movies. That's not the point of movies like this. Like, I may have said it in the second review, I don't know. For me, watching extreme films is like daring myself to push my limit, what I can stand further and further and further, and see how far I can really go. That's why I like extreme films. I don't feel like I should have to justify myself, but I want to justify myself. I'm not some kind of misogynistic person. I don't hate women. I don't get off on this stuff. This is just pure entertainment for me. I watch it to be like, oh my god, oh, they really did that? And that's why I watch these movies. Like, I don't feel like I should have to justify myself, but I don't ever want to be misquoted and people think I'm some kind of nut. So there you go. All Night Long, the final chapter. Not fun, but a completely different movie than the other two, in my opinion. Like, it has some of the same tones and same themes, but overall different, more gross, I would say, and more sexually depraved too. So there you go. That's the 3. If I was going to give that one out of 5, I'd probably give it a 4. Now, as a whole, I love this trilogy. I think they're great movies. They're extreme, so if you're not into the extreme cinema, they're not going to be for you. But if you love extreme cinema, then these 3 films are yours. And you can get this box set. It's a Tokyo Shock release. My box set's a little jacked up, unfortunately. I have this nice little paper towel in here, but because my the pieces that keep the movies in is broken. But you get all 3 movies. There's no special features, which is a damn shame. Like, I don't know if Katsuya Matsumura is not alive or whatever, but there's no special features. The only option you even have in these movies is to watch it subtitled or not, which is a shame. Yeah, awesome movies. Love them. They're great. Fantastic. Disturbing films. Ranking them. My favorite of the trilogy at one time was the original, but after rewatching Part 2, my favorite of the trilogy is definitely Part 2. It is the most extreme. It is very dark. It's one of the most nihilistic films I've ever seen, and it's awesome. Love it. My second favorite film. This is where it gets harder because I really like all 3 of these movies a lot, but I think I would give my second favorite to the first one. I think it's the best made, it's the best shot, and I think it has the best acting. And then I would go with last, but not least, definitely not least, the third one, the final chapter. It's just different, you know. And it's got some of the worst acting in it too. There's some very bad characters in it. But it's not a bad movie. It's good. If you're into this kind of stuff, it's good. So yeah, there you go. The All Night Long trilogy. All Night Long Atrocity, and All Night Long the final chapter. And I have wrapped it up. Thank you all for watching. If you watched all 3 of these reviews, thank you so much. And keep coming back. I appreciate everyone who watches my channel. Each and every one of you are near and dear to me. I'm getting all mushy on you. But really, honestly, thank you guys. I mean, I don't get as many views as I once did, but in a way, I'm fine with that because that means the people who are still watching my channel are true, I won't say fan, truly enjoy what I do, and that means more to me than having a bunch of people watching it. And that's not just me justifying the fact that I only get like 12 views per video. It is not. I honestly believe that. I honestly think that just because I only get 12, or, you know, even if I get 2, that doesn't matter, because that means 2 people watched my videos who truly enjoyed them and will watch all of my videos. So thank you all so much, and don't know what's coming up next yet. I know this Friday, I believe this Friday we'll be having Matt Reviews Crow Zero. So stay tuned for that, watch that, enjoy that. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all later.